Samir Arora joining us now. He's founder and fund manager at Helios Capital. Samir, great to speak with you, and thank you so much for your time on NDTV Profit. We're speaking at an interesting time when I suppose everyone in the world is wondering what Donald Trump is going to do next. Is the Trump effect something that is going to haunt Indian equity as well?
I think Trump is overall positive for the world, overall, because some of these things have to be set right. Within US, that the wastage and everything else and whatever the overdoing of the left side. The other thing which is positive is that, which actually the Indian budget also took a little bit from that, which is you cut taxes and you save or save wastage or cut wastage or generally keep the government a bit more tight. And so these things are positive. But because he announces every day new things, which sometimes we follow through, sometimes not, that creates uncertainty and that is a negative. Rest of it, I think everything is positive. He has already achieved a little bit, and I think he's on the right path, but it's just that he's very volatile. So sometimes you may be doing the right thing, but you also have to do them in the right way.
No, I mean, overall positive is definitely there, Samir, and I think we saw that in the way all asset classes responded when it was clear that Trump would become the next president. But from an Indian perspective and the erratic statements that you're talking about, for example, this week, Monday is aluminum and steel, 25% tariffs. Tuesday or Wednesday, we could have reciprocatory tariffs. We don't know the details of those. We don't know the impact for India. Thursday, Prime Minister Modi and Donald Trump meet. So I'm just wondering.
No, but this is because we are in a bad mood as a market. It has nothing to do with Trump. All these things are there, and actually, isn't it good that the Indian system is supposed to cut some tariffs and let competition increase? We cannot have as a market or as an economy highly protected just to save 2-3 people or I think it's absolutely fair, some part of it, because we also have overdone it many times in terms of the tariffs and all. But this is just because why the rest of the world is not reacting so negatively. I think this is...
So then let me come to that point. Why are we in a bad mood as a market?
Yeah, that is the point. So our bad point, I think primarily from an FII point, I think is because of currency. And now even that has sort of happened in the sense, let's say that because it was signaled also that at the beginning of this year that the currency was kept too strong and all. But now if you look at it over 1 year period, then the Indian INR has fallen relative to dollar by some 5.1%. And the DXY has strengthened only by some 4.9%. So first of all, now we are not, we are reacting to that. And even if you compare it to other currencies, maybe let us say, if you look at the forward market, it has to go to 89.90, let us say. Okay, now it's already 88. So it has to go to 89.90. So that's another 2-3%. And I think that, just people don't like it. I think I don't, beyond a point, never cared for it. Because I used to think and still think that you can make more than that in the stock market if you wait 2% for a fall. By that time, the market will go up 2%, and therefore this wait may not be worth it. But I think that is the number one. The other is for 2-3 reasons. Our market was doing poorly, but some of those things have been, at least the initial attempts have been made. Okay, one, currency. Second, tight liquidity. Some things have been done. Third, you may say tax cuts have been given. Fourth, you may say that the government spending was not there. That is happening. If finally you look at the results, they are not that bad. In aggregate earnings growth, including BFSI, would still be some 13-15%. Now, you may say some stocks were overheated, underheated, but we were not, this idea that, oh, this is all happening because of Trump is just connecting news to the stock market every day. It is not.
Okay. Samir, good morning, Niraj here. Rather good afternoon to you. A couple of questions on the budget. I mean, at times it becomes difficult to decipher if your tweet is in jest or you actually mean it. Did I hear you term the budget as a dream budget?
It was a dream budget. It is a dream budget. It was a dream budget because normally individuals don't dream that there will be a bridge made on some river and I dream of it tomorrow. You dream that your income will go up, your taxes will be lower, this thing. So the dream is only related to these things. And as a thumb rule, let's say what is the definition of dream budget? So the first dream budget was Chidambaram's budget, more popularly named by everybody. That time I was not on Twitter. There was no Twitter for me to label it because there was tax cut. Now, here the two, three things are A, principles. A, that money with public is better than money with the government. It just should be a simple rule of analyzing things. Second is that money was not taken from A group and given to B group. So you can't say. Third, you can't say that there were tax cuts, but the rich benefited hugely because there was a percentage cut, and therefore, if somebody was earning 5 crores, he saved 10 lakhs. So that also was not there. Fourthly, you can say that for the first time ever, somebody, that is the government of India, or some government, or in our case, government of India, said that I don't need more money for infra and social. So even an aggressive target of 4.5, I will let it go to 4.4 because I don't have capacity to, or maybe need right now, because we could not even spend this money in the current year. Where else have we ever heard of this? So it was a dream budget from every angle. Now somebody can say that, but it benefited only 3% of the people. So that, of course, is there. But the middle class in our market is 3, 5, 7%. And if you include families, maybe it's 20%. But literally everything that is done mostly is the benefit goes to a few people. For example, if you make a road in Delhi to connect it to Haryana, mostly it does not care. The South Indian guys don't care. So it is beneficial to that 2% people who will use that road. Everything more or less in life is for a few people. If you make a sea link in Bombay, sorry, but the Delhi guys should not care about it. But they do. That's how life is. It was a dream budget.
It was a dream budget. Okay. Samir, the other question is, somebody's pointed about how with DeepSeek, and if the tariff battle remains the way it is right now and doesn't get aggravated too much, then a lot of global money might find favor in moving to China because of the valuations and DeepSeek advantage, etc. What are your thoughts here? I mean, will China gain capital at the expense of the other countries, or is the 15-year underweight, highest underweight in the last 15 years of FIs in India, means that at some point of time it will turn back?
No, China is very good, I think. So, by the way, China, even in our global fund, we have not now added, but I added some months. It's too cheap. Okay. But the big picture for that is that India plus China are together maybe 45% of the emerging. Let's say there are three kinds of investors. One may be investors who are investing globally. Okay. So those guys will have some 65% in US, maybe 1% in India, and maybe 2% in China. Okay. Assuming that rates are somewhat similar actually, but let's say, or they have 1% also in China. Then for them to say that I have to increase 0.5% in China because that would be a 50% increase for them, they don't have to take it from India if India was separately doing well. And there is still some 30% of the rest of the world from where you can take this 0.5%. Please remember that 1 minute ago, the question to me was that Trump is creating all this uncertainty. So if you think that in 30 seconds from Trump creating uncertainty, the biggest beneficiary will be China, that means Trump is not creating any uncertainty, which broadly, I think that is the thing. Other thing is, let's say that somebody is doing India, China plus Asian emerging markets or emerging markets, then combined they will have 40 to 45% in India plus China is the index weight. They might be 3-5% underweight in China, and therefore they don't have to take it out of India. But I would say that one of the reasons why I have been optimistic this year in general is because I think that when the world is doing well, India normally does not, it may do less well, but it does not fall so much. And so I think China doing well also will be good, because at least you will not be saying this that, oh, the 50% premium and 50% premium has become 55%. Please note that now these guys say that our average premium is 65% and it used to be 55%. And all that has happened not because India has gone up a lot, but because China has fallen a lot, which makes that premium look more. So if it goes up 5-10%, even this argument would fall aside. So I would think broadly, any big market doing well normally leads to other markets doing well. They may underperform is secondary.
I'm just wondering, Samir, then what are the opportunities you're seeing right now in the Indian equity space?
I think
if
that
at all?
Indian market is not some bull run, best time ever, which I've been saying for 2, 3 years. The public was overselling India to say this is the golden decade and this is Amrit Kal. That is not needed. The Indian market generally has given returns in line with its earnings. If you see broadly any period, that means you do 3 year, 1 year, 10-year, 15-year, broadly the earnings growth has been 12-15%, and the market growth, that is in rupee terms, has been 12-15%. Right now, what has happened is that because the FIs have sold a lot in the last 4-5 months, that has led to, of course, their selling. But secondary, it has led to this liquidity pull out, you can say whatever, because the government or the RBI had to sell those dollars to them and basically took away the liquidity. So that is being addressed. So big picture, we are not saying it's some big bull run, but there is no reason to think that this market or the world is falling apart. You'll make your same return plus minus a few percent going forward. The last 3 year returns are below average for Nifty and the 500. And no, 500 is more or less in line. Nifty is below average. Separately, small caps are high and okay, but the problem with small caps is there are some, I don't know, 500 of them. So everybody says I have 3 of them which I like, and I don't care in aggregate what the small cap valuations are. But in the very short term, they will also be influenced by how the sort of the aggregate number things are doing. But I'm not saying it's some great thing, but it's not a bad thing the way we are uh, sort of talking about it every day, that every excuse to say that there is something wrong with India. For example, Mr. Modi being one of the first guys to meet Trump is a big negative. I'm saying that Mr. Modi should refuse to leave White House till the morning of 14th, and so that he can say that Valentine's Day, Mr. Trump met him first.
Samir, I think nobody can beat you in those quotable quotes.
Because anyway, if he's meeting at dinner time, you just push it a little bit more and say, yeah, we're just leaving.
You're writing our headlines for us. The ones we wouldn't dare put out.
Okay, you can call it pre-Valentine's Day dinner with Mr. Trump. Not a bad thing. See, India is going to be a beneficiary relatively if Trump becomes very hard, because Trump can, of course, he can say that I'm doing reciprocal and with everybody. But in some of these things, I don't think India should overly object to reducing the
No,
tax.
we'll take the
because,
bikes. We'll take
we
the
have
bikes they
overly
want to
put it-
sell. They were, a few things that they want to push here. I mean, that's okay.
Let them sell a few bikes. Nothing wrong with it. What's the big deal?
Yeah, the Harley Davidsons can come. Thank you. Thank you, Samir, for speaking with you. The inimitable Samir Arora, who is
you.
the dialogue of the morning, the pre-Valentine's
Most certainly.
Trump-Modi meet. But not too negative on Indian markets, even on what is looking like a pretty bad day.
Yeah, which is actually a good thing to start off the week with.